She's back!
Hey, I'm back! What's up? Did you miss me? It's only been a month. It's Kiera or Queera back again with another Ask Queera video. Are you surprised? I wouldn't be. Yes, I took a bit of like a month break hiatus because your girl needs to take some time for herself, but now I am back. So how this video series works is I ask you guys on Instagram, what are you struggling with right now? Do you want me to give you advice on LGBTQ plus things? Anything gay, basically. Anything gay. If you want to participate in the next video, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Do it. The last couple videos I've filmed like this, I've just picked one question and used it for the entire video, but that's not gonna work anymore because like I can't be talking about one question for the whole time, especially with these questions because they don't require 10 minutes to explain. Before I jump into the questions though, I want to say a few words about this video sponsor, Audible. Okay, so I've been listening to this audiobook lately called Super Life, The 5 Forces That Will Make You Healthy, Fit, and Eternally Awesome. And it's by Darren O'Lean, who's actually in this new Netflix documentary called Down to Earth, and it's with Zac Efron. So him and Zac Efron kind of like travel the world and learn how different countries and different parts of the world live more sustainably. And I saw that Darren was vegan, and I saw that he had an audiobook on Audible, so I figured I'd check it out because I'm always looking for more ways to just like nourish my body, but with plant-based food, trying not to be that junk food vegan, even though I kind of am sometimes. It's really cool because he talks about how the world's most popular chronic illnesses that people get very often and die from can be actually prevented or fixed through the food that you eat. For me, it's easier to listen to the audiobook on Audible because I'm always doing things. I have a pretty busy life, so it's great that I can listen to an audiobook while multitasking and cooking or cleaning or riding my bike. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks. And now is actually the best time to be a member because members not only get 2 Audible originals a month, but they actually have access to the entire collection. That's a new initiative they've done since the pandemic. So if you download the free Audible app on your phone, you can listen remotely, and you can even download an audiobook that you know you want to listen to, and then you can listen to it offline without Wi-Fi. Another cool initiative that Audible has started since the pandemic is stories.audible.com, which is basically kind of like a separate website where kids and youth can listen to free titles without logging in or without needing a membership. Whether that be educational or entertaining, they have so many different categories. It's great for parents who need to homeschool their kids, caregivers, or just for kids themselves. And if you're into self-help and meditation, Audible's got that too. With Audible Sleep, you don't have to subscribe to all of these different meditation apps. You can just do everything on Audible. There's tons of short, soothing audio experiences that'll help you drift off to sleep. You can actually try out your 1 month of Audible absolutely free, and if you don't end up liking it, you can just cancel after the 1 month. There's literally nothing to lose. All you have to do is go to audible.com/Kiera, or you can text Kiera to 500-500. If you missed that, that's audible.com/KEARA, or you can text KEARA to 500-500. I hope you try it out and do the free trial, and if you do, you definitely need to listen to Darren O'Lean's audiobook, Super Life. So good. Thank you so much, Audible, for another awesome collaboration. Now let's get back into the questions. All of these are anonymous. I'm not going to be outing you guys. Don't worry. Okay. What if you're questioning and want to experiment but feel bad doing that to people? My advice for you is you just need to communicate with the person that you want to be sexually active with and let them know that, hey, you're not really sure of your sexuality.
Don't get attached. Don't get attached.
Be like, I don't know if I want this to lead to anything, but I just want to see how I feel when I kiss a girl or boy, etc. Next question. How to get involved in LGBTQ plus activism without outing yourself? There are a lot of straight allies involved in LGBTQ plus activism, so if you don't want to be outed by being involved in those activities, you're not necessarily, unless you say it outright, just don't talk about it and just support other people and uplift other people and their stories, and you don't necessarily have to share your story. Next question, this one's a tricky one. I'm a closeted bisexual. I want to come out, but I can't. My family thinks sexuality is a choice.
Well, shit.
No, I totally understand that, because when I first came out, my family was so not accepting, and they also thought it was a choice, but they also kind of thought it just didn't exist. Like, they just didn't think bisexuality existed. So it was kind of hard for me to come out. In my family, I wouldn't be kicked out for coming out. But I know that a lot of people's families are like that. I would say, like, I don't know your situation, but I would say gauge if your family would actually kick you out or not, because, like, you need to live somewhere. Like, you don't want to be homeless. So, like, first of all, take care of your safety. You could do two things. You could come out and be like, I don't give a what you say, and not let them, like, persuade you to go back in the closet. Or you can just protect yourself, make sure that you are safe first, maybe come out to a few friends that you trust, and then eventually, once you get older, you might move out of that house and you might feel safer to come out. Your families should love you unconditionally, even if they don't necessarily agree with your sexuality. If they're not overly affectionate, and if they don't say I love you, and they're just not the type of family that does that, find your chosen family. You're allowed to do that. Find people that do love and accept you and support you like friends, and you can call them your family. They're just your chosen family. So if your family doesn't support you, find a group of friends, or even one friend, or like an aunt or a cousin who does, and that can be your little support group. How can you tell the difference between having a crush on a girl and looking up to her?
Well...
Ask yourself this. Would you want to kiss said girl? Or are you just inspired by them? Do you want to date said girl? Or do you just want to be like them? Do you want to be intimate, sexually or not, with this girl? Do you get butterflies when you talk to them? Are you, like, really awkward around them because they're pretty? Those are the types of things that usually mean you have a crush. Next question is, am I ever too young to know that I'm queer? I personally don't think so, because you are obviously born queer and you just discover that as you grow up. And, like, obviously you're not gonna know it as a baby, but you might very well know it when you are, I don't know, 10 years old. 10-year-olds can have crushes, and if your crush is on the same gender as you, then you're probably gay. You can discover these things at all ages. You don't have to be like a certain age to be sure of yourself. You can be sure of yourself at a young age. How to talk to girls, especially when you're not properly out. I haven't flirted with girls since I met my current partner, but when that happens, I usually just want to talk to the person like normal. Like, you don't have to be all, like, sexy when you're first talking to a girl. If that's just not how it comes across. Like, you don't have to force yourself to be like, hey, what's up? Just get to know her as a person and as a friend first. And don't worry if you're not out yet, because even if you don't end up liking her that way, you can still be friends with her and you don't have to come out to her. How can I stop worrying about having a specific label and accept that I don't know 100% where I fit? Let me tell you, I don't know really where I fit either. I have been out of the closet as LGBT for around 4 years now, and in periods of my life thought I knew 100% what my label was, and now I do not. And I'm just discovering more things about myself. So I'm kind of unsure of my whole sexuality label too, but it's not bothering me because, like, I love my partner and I'm not really, like, looking at other people right now. I find that the best label that suits me is queer, and queer is kind of like an umbrella term that is kind of an all-encompassing word for the LGBTQ+ community. Queer can describe gender and sexuality, but I am queer in my sexuality. No one should be forcing you to figure out what your label is, and there's no rush to figure out what your label is right away. Even if you're in your 30s and you still don't know what your label is, that's okay. And you don't really need to know that. Like, all you really need to know is like who you're attracted to now, and that's it. I hope that answers your question. I can't really fully answer it because I'm going through the same thing. I just use queer, and it's okay to still be figuring shit out. Next question is, what was the first thing that made you start to realize you weren't straight? Well, I started thinking I wasn't straight when I had a boyfriend, and I didn't really want to have sex with my boyfriend. When I was kissing my boyfriend, I kind of was thinking about kissing girls. So that was a pretty big indication. Even though I was romantically attracted to my boyfriend, I wasn't sexually attracted to my boyfriend. And then once I realized that, I was like, oh, I'm sexually attracted to girls, but I'm also romantically attracted to girls. Is the sexuality you label yourself as now going to change as you get older? I have recently learned about this thing called sexual fluidity. Now, it's not very common. Most people, their sexual orientation is stable and unchanging throughout their entire life. So they only have one label, and it doesn't change throughout their entire life. But sexual fluidity is when you do experience it changing, but it's not common. If you're like most people, your sexuality label will not change as you get older. But if you are sexually fluid, or if you experience sexual fluidity at times, then it could possibly change. And that is okay. There we go, that's it! Yay! I'm sweating. I'm not an expert, so I'm not claiming to be a therapist, so you don't have to take my advice. But if you want to, that's great. Good for you. I hope you liked this style of video. If you want to see more Ask Queera videos, request it below in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, folks! Thank you again, Audible, for the sponsorship. Bye!